Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm your host, Ninon de Rosa, and my co-host is AJ Dean. Sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm Ninon de Rosa, and I have my co-host with me, AJ, and we have an incredible guest today, but I don't introduce the guest. AJ introduces the guest, so go ahead, AJ. Who have we got today?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Ninon. We have just an exciting show today. We have the one and only Lou Gazzara. He is a dynamic musician, singer, and performer, and he has a wonderful album out, and we're going to talk about all this, a lot of fun stuff. Hello and welcome, Lou. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm great. And Ninon?
Lou, you look absolutely amazing here. This is not the scene that when I interviewed you a few weeks ago, this is not the same scene. This is a different scene.
Yes, I'm up in Alaska today.
Expanding your horizons, and no intended.
Well, you know, this is an original photo, the background that I took, which we could maybe talk about a little bit later. But this was from one of the cruises, many cruises that I had been performing on. And I had the opportunity to take this shot when we pulled into the port of Skagway, Alaska, and there's helicopter tours and beautiful seaplanes and the mountains surrounding you. It just brought me in, and I had to use this for today because it's nice and bright.
You know, I have been there actually. I've been to Alaska. And I never believed the cards. They used to have those cards with photographs of these brilliant blue mountains and the yellow. Well, I was there, and it actually is true because those are true colors, if not brighter. But Alaska is a very amazing place because you don't think Alaska of being what it really is, and it is so beautiful and so wonderful. But the people are so nice.
Yeah, well, the handful that are there, you know, in the wintertime, there aren't too many to be found, but luckily the cruises go up there in the summertime.
But the cruises, so let's talk a little bit about your cruises. So were you on Princess cruises?
I did Princess. It's actually where I met my wife. I guess you could call it the love boat. I also did Royal Caribbean and Crystal Cruises, which is a higher end luxury line.
Yeah, they say the Crystal was beautiful. How was it?
Absolutely amazing. It's a 5-star luxury line. Again, for all of these cruises, well, let's say pre-2020, I was flying in, flying out, bouncing from one ship to the next. I was only the headliner. So I've never worked as a crew member on board, although I respect the amount of hours they put in. I was fortunate enough to fly in as their guest star, do my concert, and head off to the next. But yeah, Crystal's amazing. They're all great for what they specialize in. Royal Caribbean, more family, the others different.
You know, one thing about the cruise lines, you sure have a built-in audience. They're not going anywhere.
No, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, some of these theaters are 1,800 seats. I mean, they're massive. The ships keep getting bigger and bigger.
And they're always full. It seems like every performance, because I've been on Princess Cruise Lines and a couple of others, but the cruise line is that you've always got this built-in audience and different shows at different times, which is amazing how they keep it going. But this is fabulous for the entertainers, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, let's say it was up until last year's hiatus, but we are looking forward to getting back to it. Although I think, as you know, and we've spoken before, this year has been a transition to be in Las Vegas a little bit more. And, you know, we see some things are in the works for doing a permanent show here on the Strip.
What have you got coming up? Because last time I spoke to you, had some things, and we did a couple of things. I see there's a couple of flyers here at the Italian Club restaurant.
Yes.
So what have you got coming up? Because this is where we are.
I'll briefly touch on both of them, not to take up too much time, but get my plug in there. The first flyer that you see in my suit and yellow tie is coming up this Saturday, March 20th, 8 p.m. at Chianti Italian Restaurant. That'll be the venue for both of these. Chianti has been on the forefront for entertainment all through last year, keeping entertainment alive in whichever capacity was allowed, and they're still doing it safely. And now we have even more capacity available to us, so we're looking forward to that. It's going to be my 10-year anniversary of performing live in Las Vegas.
Oh, how wonderful. You don't look old enough to be in it for 10 years. You must have started very young.
Well, that's the blessing of these ring lights in the virtual world, right? We can give us the Diane Sawyer lighting, right?
No, that's not true because I've seen you in person. You've got you've got the most beautiful skin and beautiful. You are very, but not only do you look good, but your personality and who you are is absolutely amazing. You're very humble actually as to your position in life, and what you have achieved in 10 years is amazing.
Well,
Got the
thank
attack up, we got the Chianti. So now what else have you got?
Well, we're doing a project that unfortunately I cannot really discuss much about right now. We're trying to, I can say this. There was a show that ran for a little while here in town on the Strip at a major casino. And unfortunately, it had come to an end about 5-6 years ago. And we are working on revamping that original concept, which is surrounded from a one-man host performer perspective. And we're redoing it in 2021 style for the new Vegas.
That's amazing. So are you the star in this? You're obviously the leading star in this.
I would say I would be the star of the show. That would be my official title, although we know that we're only as good as our team, right? I read the back of your card more than once.
Yeah, we can't have it without our team. And I always say that whether they're in front of the camera or whether they're behind the camera. And as you say that, I look over to AJ, and AJ is part of my team. And without AJ, this doesn't work. It doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Ninon.
I don't think that the sort of, we are the stars, obviously, but I think that everybody else helps us, puts us there. And we cannot neglect the people behind the scene and in front of the scene. And then I think, AJ, I give a shout out to you. She's amazing. And I'm sure you would do with all your, people that work around you, Lou.
Well, my people are great as well, but I have to as well give all of the credit for today being possible to AJ.
Oh,
I don't know if she filled you in. I had some technical difficulties the other day, but she was patient. She worked with me to get it sorted out.
She fills me in with everything that's going on and says, Nina, don't worry, it's okay, everything's going to be fine. Well, I know it's going to be fine. AJ, did you have a question for Lou?
Yes, I just want to say thank you so much, Lou and Ninon. You are both consummate professionals, and it's really me that cannot do it without you. And because you are the superstars and you are the leaders that we all look up to and inspire us. But I did want to mention something really exciting. Yeah. Lou has this wonderful album out. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Musical Love Affair. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Lou? It's really a wonderful album, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I recorded this album right before I went out for some international touring back in 2015. That's when we did the official photo shoot and finally got it onto iTunes and all of the other outlets where you availability for the album itself. And then we hit the world, basically, the world stage, and we pushed this. There's people that have this album from France, from Italy, from South America, all over, including Alaska, just where my background picture is. And what I like about it is that it was my first full-length studio album that was not, I should say, a seasonal album, because I had a Christmas album before, and it gave me the opportunity to really pick what I wanted to do to put my best foot forward. And the reason for the title is that it's everything. It's my musical love affair. It's my love affair with all music. It features opera, jazz, rock and roll, Journey, Frank Sinatra, everything under the sun.
It tells your story, actually, doesn't it?
It does. And you're right about the story.
Story of who you are, what you are, and also what you sing. Because some people, they get typed in just one kind of the way they sing, but you don't. You spread that out a little bit. That's your question just for our viewers and also for other entertainers that watch this to see how they can be like you. How long does an album like that take, and how many recordings are roughly on an album?
Well, it varies depending on the format for this. And first, to get back to your you're mentioning that it is like a story. And I try to look at myself as a musical artist similar to what a Hollywood actor would be, and that each album or each phase of my career is different and versatile, just as an actor can do one role in a movie and then do another. I don't want to be typecast into one thing. That being said, I want to maintain the fan base. So it was carefully done over almost a year because I was traveling and touring at the same time. And it was all done here in Las Vegas, which I wanted to do, not because I couldn't record elsewhere, but my musical director, Robbie Wingfield, is here. He'll be joining me Saturday night, actually, to perform live with the show. And I just wanted to culminate everything. And I apologize if you hear some of my background singers there. I have two twin babies that are only about 7 weeks old. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the mic or not.
It's coming through, but I think it's rather lovely because they're taking up the singing like you, and they're testing their vocal cords at the moment.
Pumping the lungs up there.
They're going to become a little two of them, singing out there. They'll be. Imagine if they had a thing. Are they a boy and girl or two boys?
It is boy and girl. Could be like a Donnie and Marie or something.
That's what they're a Marie out there, so you could start them. Well, I think they're already in training.
Yeah, absolutely. In this household, especially.
Now, have you written any songs? Because I know these are new babies, aren't they? How old are they?
Oh, just about 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old now. They were born December 28th.
Oh, how wonderful. Have you written, or are you going to write a song about, preparing for them and twins? Because, not everybody has twins, and it's double jeopardy of, now you've got husband and wife taking care of each one, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't thought about doing it specifically about that preparation for twins per se, but I think if I do wind up writing something, pen to paper, it can be for everyone, not just for someone expecting twins, but for someone expecting any type of change in life. Maybe you've hit on something special, that these moments are the things that can be busy, sleepless nights, distractions, other things, but it allows us a new way to grow and change. And I'd like to do something, a song of hope and welcoming new things into our life.
And putting that pen to paper, I think it would be nice, and you put the word in there, for everyone. And I think, for every woman, it's not only a woman, it's also the man plays his part as well. We know that the woman carries a child, obviously, and gives birth, but also the man goes through sort of the same 9-month thing as well. So it's not just a one-way street, because everything, the woman, but it's not.
No. Well, and even in today's day and age, there's, not to get into a huge humanitarian, speech, but we have people that adopt, we have, different types of family structures all over the world. And, everybody, grows their family in their own way. And I think something like that would be a really fun project to work on. Thanks for that inspiration.
Absolutely. I think it would be a great thing to work on. But also, now that you're in Vegas, and now you said you're putting the show together, I know you can't mention the show too much, but if the show does come to fruition and you are working on it, when do you think it'll come out? Because the hotels now are sort of booking acts. Even the cruise ships are 50-50.
Yes.
People are definitely opening up. We've reached a 50% mark, and now I think to the next, 100% is definitely coming up. So do you have a timeline for this performance coming up? Might come out just at the right time.
Yes, well, I was just on, and you very good friends with Ron Garrett. I was just on his radio show, and he had Miss Mona who's from here in Las Vegas, and she's a psychic tarot reader. She told me my months are July and September, and that anything in between there is when all the magic's going to happen. And I think that her timeline is right on track, because for some of the more established shows here in Las Vegas that had been up and running previously, it will be easier to just jump back into the swing of things as we open up, even with limited capacities. For a brand new show, or for a revival, so to speak, I'd like us to wait closer to the end of summer or fall before we try to really push this out there. Just so that we have ourselves ready and the marketing plan, as you know, the business behind the scenes ready, so that we can push it, because it's going to take some effort in the beginning, as all new shows do.
And I actually agree with you, because I think any performance needs, the more rehearsals you have, the better it becomes. But at the same time, if you come out too soon, there's little nicks and things might happen. So if you come out a little later when things are more established in Vegas, because they definitely are. I was out yesterday and everything's there's even traffic jams now on a Sunday. So, things are looking good.
Yeah, it's a good thing for us, right?
Also looking, especially in the entertainment business. I have another show called Vegas Live with Ninon, which you were on a couple of weeks ago. And
Yes.
that has sort of taken its hit. A lot of people say, well, why would I come on if I'm not doing anything? But now it's starting to pick up. Now people are starting to come out and things are starting to move. But, I watch the stock market as well. And they're saying things are going in a different direction too. A lot of people are going on Zoom. A lot of people are doing their work out of their houses because they've kind of got used to all this. But you cannot beat Vegas and the entertainment. How do you think Lou is going to come back? And do you think it's going to be bigger and better than ever because all these people will be locked up?
Well, of course it has to be. I mean, and like you said, we'll call it the virtual world is one aspect of it. We'll never lose the live glitz and glamour of Vegas, especially the buildings, the casinos alone, the history that we have here. It's always going to be an entertainment destination and a tourist destination, but incorporating this new virtual world it's something that some were already starting to do, and I think now it's a prerequisite for being successful. If you're not 360 multimedia and out there on all channels, podcasts and the video aspects and all the support that goes on the technical side, you have to be doing that in order to be successful. So you're going to see a lot of competition and growth and expansion in the entertainment industry, where there was a window of opportunity already, now almost being required.
Yeah, we sort of opened up. I'm not going to say a whole new world, because obviously, the world is technical now. It's all technology. It's all going through this. But at the same time, there's a lot of us out there that like to have the touch, the feel, the see and watch. They like to buy their clothes online. They want to touch them. They want to feel them. And then that same in the entertainment business. They want to actually be there in the audience. I was at a thing yesterday afternoon, and just being there, although they had this way of seating people, which was ridiculous, but that's okay. But the feel, just to be there, the ambiance of getting out and then meeting the singer afterwards and sort of, touching and feeling and seeing. I think it's amazing. AJ, you're, in the technical side of putting the show together and helping it all get together. What difference have you seen in the last kind of 6 months as well of people like Lou coming out on Zoom and also on all the other platforms, but now sort of live?
Yes, it's amazing, really, because like Lou is a beautiful example, because he is a variety artist already, but he's wearing many hats now. He's multitasking and going into different mediums. And I think that's beautiful, because that's what the new entertainer, you need to be your own business person. You need to wear many hats, and you need to be versatile and to be able to be open to change and to update and upgrade.
Absolutely. You hit it right up. Did you hit it on the nail, Lou?
I think so, and it's not easy. The entertainment has always been show business, and now, unless you're getting down to business, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's the truth. It requires so much more energy.
I think you're right. It's definitely is. It actually has always been a business, but the entertainment people are not geared that way because they're entertainers. They're not business people. But you truly 100% have to be a business mind as well. Are you taking care of all your business, Lou? Because I know I'm not going to criticize managers or anybody, because they're all very helpful. They're all very wonderful. But a lot of this stuff slips through the cracks, and where's all my money? Where's all my stuff?
Well, thankfully, nobody's ran off with my millions yet, or the millions to be made. But I handle everything. I have my own entertainment company, Gazzara Entertainment. It's an LLC that we set up back in 2013. Yes. So we've been 7 years here in Las Vegas. It was previously in New Jersey, my old home, and my hometown area. But what people don't realize when you're running a business like that, it is more work, as you know, but it also gives you more creative freedom. So it lets the artist truly come out, because now you're not hindered by being the guy baling the hay on someone else's farm. Now it's your farm. If I want to grow tomatoes, I'll grow tomatoes. Or if I want to grow blueberries, I'll plow the field and I'll grow blueberries. It's my choice. Fail or succeed. It's all in the ball's in your court, so to speak.
So your choice is, obviously, you go out there, you choreograph the show and you put the show together completely. You sing jazz, you sing R&B. What exactly is your forte, and what do you really enjoy when you're out there? You get on stage, this is what I really like, although you sing in different areas.
Sure. Although I will add, as you said, I do put it all together from the production standpoint, set list, but I definitely have help. You know, being the big boss doesn't mean that you do it all. It's just knowing how to pick the right people to help you do it. So my musical director helps with arrangements and things like that. And part of that process and choosing what's really going to land at the audience's ear with the right message, the right tone, is taking that criticism, or I should say helpful critique, from your tune. So for instance, I may really love a specific jazz or bluesy number that nobody really wants to hear but me. So they may say, okay, well, that's not, quite what's gonna gel for this particular show, and we'll change it up and put something a little more big bandy or standard. But the variety's always been me, and that's where I guess the boss puts his foot down, and I get to still keep that in there.
But I think it's nice for you to mention your musical director and other people that truly do, because sometimes we do get caught up in ourselves. We think this is absolutely fabulous and great. And I'm always sort of saying, AJ, AJ, does that look okay? Is that all right? Because you criticize yourself sometimes in the wrong way and sometimes in the right way. But, you need somebody else to actually look at you and see what you're doing and how you're doing it. If you had to give some advice to these young people coming up in your arena, what would you like to advise the younger generation, whether it's a female or a male or whatever, or a band, whatever?
In which area specifically? Because we know there are so many.
Well, there's so many, but actually coming out, actually putting a show together and actually criticizing themselves or saying what will work for them, because they're not going to be the same as you. None of us are the same. We might pretend we are, but we're not. Everybody is different.
Well, I think the biggest advice would be to not get discouraged, but also time management. We do have more roles now than ever, and especially if you're starting out, you're expected to still have all the other things that the stars around you that you're competing with will have, but you have to do it yourself. And most of the time, you'll have to do it on a lesser budget, unless you have some family fortune or other backing. So don't get discouraged with what you're putting out there. If it comes from the heart, and if you're putting 100% into it, the audience will notice that, and you'll continue to get the newer jacket with sparkles, or the new dress, or the bigger showroom bookings. Those things will come later on. Make sure that you're lined up, you're centered, and you're not spreading yourself too thin. The time management's so important. Focus on your health, your energy, and your projects, but keep it all in perspective. Don't let yourself get too scrambled because of the demands of the industry.
And you're right, there is a demand out there, but I think you're absolutely right. And I also think, sometimes they turn up late, or they become, they think that they're sort of better than God, and they come out and, I'm almighty, and they aren't. I think if you kind of remain humble out there, but I think any time of whatever you do in your 24 hours, do the best you possibly can, if not better.
Yes.
Because you can always do better.
Absolutely.
And it's not being better than somebody else, it's being better than you. You are trying to be better than you were yesterday or whatever. And I think don't you agree, AJ? It's, always do the best you can. I mean, if you're a secretary, do that 100%. Don't just shove papers around and oh, he won't notice. Everybody notices what you do and who you are. And that's how you climb the ladder, isn't it?
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. I was just reading my notes here. I wanted to include something and let everyone know, all of Lou Gazzara's fans and audience out there, that he, of course, they know he is an American Idol Season 2 finalist. And he has 3 shows coming up, actually, March 20th and April 17th, 8 p.m. at the Italian restaurant Chianti Italian Restaurant, 4275 South Durango Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89147. And you can get tickets there at lougazzara.com, also at 609-432-0051. So get your front row tickets for Lou's fabulous show coming up. And I'm sorry, what was the question? I apologize.
No, I think what you were far more interested than what I was saying personally.
Well, I think that Lou is such a great example, and I love how he talks and speaks from his heart, and I know he's going to inspire many, many people here. I did want to ask Lou, though, what is your favorite song on your album? Because it's a romantic album, if you will, I think. And like you said, it's a love story, your musical love story. What is your #1 favorite song from your album?
Well, that's a tough one because I have many favorites, obviously, and this is sort of a compilation of just that. However, I think if I had to pick, let me pick 2. I could say Nessun Dorma, which is the Italian aria, is pretty much one of my all-time favorites to sing, especially because I always dedicate it to my Nana, my great-grandmother. But I guess if I'd venture away from that, I would pick Open Arms by Journey. It's an original arrangement of a song that was made famous. Steve Perry and Khan wrote the song together for the band back in the early 80s. And we added a little bit of a twist to it. I'm not the first one to cover this particular piece. So that would be my favorite. But to get back to what Ninon was saying earlier, and yes, I'm very grateful and excited for the plug and the promotion of myself now as a star performing. But what Ninon said, it really struck a chord, and the people listening out there, especially getting started, need to remember, just as she said, if you're the secretary, be the best. If you're taking out the trash, make sure you don't drop anything and leave it behind. Do those particular jobs as 150% as when you're on stage or when you think you're being the star, because they will be the most important aspects when you are the boss. That's where you have to cut corners to save money on a production, and someone says, oh, we don't have a costumer. Well, you might be the star of the show, but guess what? You might be sitting up till 3 a.m. sewing beads on the dresses for all the dancers. I mean, that's the thing you have to remember, is you get this training by doing the menial tasks throughout the years that you think aren't important, but it comes back full circle.
Yeah, and you're right, because you think, you get all high and mighty, and I'm too good to do this and you are never ever in your entire life. And believe me, I've been very, very prosperous. I've done tremendous things. I am still humble. I will never ever forget being like that. And I will always, if I can see something on the ground, I will pick it up. And I don't, quite frankly, give a damn if people say, well, I wonder what she's doing. I don't care. I will do that. But we don't have much time left. But what I did want to ask you, can you tell us a few of the famous things that have happened to you? Because weren't you in some big something and you won? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I didn't win, unfortunately, but I did have an amazing experience on American Idol Season 2. At the time, I was the youngest finalist ever to be featured on the television series, and I was only 17. So for me, that was the catalyst of everything else that was to come in my career. And, although that's probably the largest viewership because of the grandness of the show, it led to so many other amazing aspects. I got to judge, pageantry, sing the national anthem for Miss America in Atlantic City at Boardwalk Hall. I got to perform at Resorts International Casino and Hotel that was started by Merv Griffin, on the same stage as Wayne Newton, Pavarotti, Frank Sinatra, all of these amazing things. Act in a movie with James Brolin, Antonio Sabato Jr. All of these things wouldn't have been possible without the initial exposure of the show and utilizing that opportunity of exposure in order to continue to grow.
Yeah, I mean, you've been, you've done an awful lot, and you've had a lot of breaks, but you kind of made those breaks. So you started really quite young, only 17.
Yes.
Having that sort of entree into thousands, I don't know, millions, I don't know how many people, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that kind of put you in a place where you had to now live up to the performance and live up to the talent that they had given you because they accepted you into their realm as of a very prominent singer? How did you feel about all that? I mean, you must have been over the moon.
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned this, and you had said some of these opportunities that I've kind of created them for myself. In a way, I really do think that any entertainer does struggle with basically their ability to be confident in what they are presenting on a regular basis, because we are so scrutinized in this industry, more so than a lot of other places. So, I've always viewed it maybe overly humble, but it's not really that I've created opportunities. I'd like to think that I just kept my nose to the grindstone, made sure I was sharp and being creative and humble. And that when you're in this mindset, the universe kind of does open these doors for you. It is, of course, with the hard work involved and making connections, but it's a mindset as well. Being thankful, being humble, those types of opportunities may come even if you're not, but where it really succeeds is when you can appreciate it a little bit more.
Well, also, these doors can open up for you, like they can open up for anybody in any business. But if you don't follow through with what you actually supposed to do or what you do, you being a singer, me being a talk show host, if you don't follow through and actually perform and do what people expect you to do, which means it's a hard work on your side,
Yes.
you can have all the doors open in the entire world. And if you don't get your act, no pun intended, together, you're going to fall flat on your nose.
Absolutely. And to answer the later part of the question, do I feel like I'm living up to the initial sizzle? Always. Always. I mean, when you're in front of 18 million people singing for not just this country, the world. I mean, there's people tuning in from all over. And then the show has such a long continued run and success. Of course, we always go back and we say, well, where should I be now if that's where I started? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I think part of coming to an understanding and a comfort in all of the different types of experiences is looking at the other artists, reading biographies. And I heard from a little bird that someone may be writing an autobiography. Don't get to that, but you look at someone like Nathan Lane, who was paid millions and millions of dollars to act in amazing films, choosing to say, I want to go back to the stage. I want to go back to Broadway and be in a dramatic role. And so for me, that's what I kind of feel my career has done so far is that, yeah, sure, I had American Idol and TV. Is the stage less important? No, it's just a different avenue to touch people with the other talents that you're given, if you're able to do so.
And you can't lax at all. You can't lax on anything, especially in entertainment, because there's always not one person. There's probably thousands of people right there to take over your job, your place, your stage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Out there to take over. But yeah, there is a little birdie going out there that Ninon is actually, it's because of AJ. I've always wanted to write a biography of what my life has been, because it hasn't quite been the same as a lot of people. It's had its ups and downs, its ins and outs, and it's been the most incredible journey. And AJ, what are you thinking of? You started this biography of this lady next to you.
I'm just so thrilled to be a part of it. It's a great honor. It really is to be working with you I say you're the best boss in the world, and you are. You're the best mentor because your heart wants everyone to succeed and win. And you've taken me in under your wing, and I appreciate that. And I look at you like more like a sister, if that's okay, as my extended family. But you're the sister I always wanted, Ninon.
I like it's the sister, not the mother. I'll go right ahead with the sister.
You're too young. You're too young to be my mother, okay?
See,
I'll second that.
Thank you.
The show.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have about 3 minutes left. I've had such a wonderful time. Anything else you want to add into this?
No, I would like you to add anything you would like to add, but also like to know where can people reach you and how can they book you and do all that?
The easiest way, truthfully, I mean, we mentioned all of these different avenues that you have to be a part of. And for those watching, another important tip to jot down, have your own website, have it organized, and have every single thing you're doing on that particular site. Drive as much traffic to it as you can. And for me, that would just be simply lougazzara.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of our upcoming bookings and events, blog posts, including this, once we're able to post this feature as well, everything will get funneled through the website so that it makes it easy and all in one place for everybody to check it out.
Well, actually, because of AJ, this actually gets plugged pretty fast. You're probably going to get a copy of this, probably, if not later today, definitely tomorrow, because that's how she, and she's amazing. She's right on top of everything, complete. Because the majority of our shows, Ninon Speaks, are really live. We don't have to redo anything. We don't have to reorganize anything. It's how it is. And if it messes up with anything, that's just how Zoom is, and that's just how we are. But
The
that
show must go on, right?
show, but we like to keep it real, so we don't really sort of, brush anything up or anything else. But once again, you're going to be appearing this coming Saturday, March the 20th.
Yes, at Chianti Italian Restaurant. That'll be the date for the both of the shows you see featured on the screen here. These show flyers, March 20th, this Saturday coming up, and April 17th. Two totally different shows. Each show in town now. We're trying to bring something new to the table. And then you were right, AJ. We do actually have a third show. We had some rescheduling, but we have now booked May 30th, Memorial Day weekend. The start of the summer will be at the Italian American Club, which is of course famous for decades here in Las Vegas. And that's going to be our big summer celebration to start things off for the season over there.
See you this Saturday. I'm going to see if I can try and come up and see you for sure.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
I'm going to definitely see if I'm not too late to book in. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that up to you.
There's always a seat left for you, Ninon.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Thank you so much. You never know. I just walk in. I do that.
Please do.
One of my favorites. What time do you start, actually? What time does the show start?
That'll be an
8
8 p.m. show. Yes, that'll be an 8 p.m. show. However, a lot of people, Chianti is an amazing restaurant. They got started just as the pandemic was shutting down all of the restaurants in town. So they had quite a tough time getting their name out there, but they've really been so supportive of